Thank you very much. And Ollie, I have to say, game of the day.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I'm just more concerned if I'm a cow or not.
I mean, it's a genuine question because we do a Fury W7M after this. So what, game of the day? What are we thinking?
No, I don't think so.
See?
Fury W7M, it can't be game of the day.
So I agree. However, I almost want to argue it's game of the day just because I do think this could be a sleeper good game. Like the desk mentioned, Loud beating FaZe last stage. It was, to be fair, kind of a perplexing performance from FaZe. A lot of over peaking in that game on Cafe. But I think this could be a really good one, and I hope it being slotted right next to Fury W7M doesn't take a lot of the shine off, well, what is in theory a great matchup. Of course, these things don't necessarily always transpire as we think they would, as we didn't really expect ENX Loud to be a great game. It turned out to be very good, but one that resulted in Loud losing out on all 3 points. 7-5 regulation loss. Now here they show up against one of the best teams in Brazil and the world on a map that FaZe have played so consistently. Starting on R6 room, big question. And Ollie, I'd like you to answer this. What impact is Cyber having?
What, today?
In this matchup.
Oh, is it like a cyber yay or cyber nay day?
Yeah, like what are we thinking?
I think the thing is, Cyber's a very decorated player, and he often attracts a lot of conversation and chatter.
Agreed.
Well, there are occasions when he does go missing.
Yes.
And he can go missing for a while. Now, usually the first couple of rounds are a good indicator, but there's one thing that's for certain, is that he'll always have at least one good, very impactful round in him. Ooh, is it going to be round 1? Oh, it's so free. Just a quick shoulder peek there, Cyber. Maybe a little bit, maybe he wants it too much. Maybe he was trying too hard. Maybe he needs to bait him in a little bit more.
It's the kind of care you need to apply if you're Loud. Because just barely through a doorway like that, you don't know if Cyber's going to be there or not. He could be anywhere. It makes intel game when you're playing against FaZe so much more important. Because you think it's so simple. It's just one guy. Just hunt him down. And he always seems to find ways to slip the net, find themselves in angles and positions that can really cause problems for the attacking side. He's worked his way over to Newbridge at the moment, which of course would be a big problem for anybody over on Ops, but STK has gone prone for that exact precaution. He does not have the diffuser, thankfully. So Basetto should be able to walk in without the planter exposing themselves to Cyber, but still, STK, little too lax about it. And lax only because he's playing Cyber. I'm sure many other teams, that'd be fine to hop up like that, but you just have to show a greater level of foresight when it comes to FaZe Clan. Basetto not looking to walk through the default doorway, instead pushing up deep in front of bathroom with the diffuser in hand. And here Cyber goes lurking again. Threatening a flank around Rocket, knifes the drone just for the silence. You can see one player crouching down. The timing just barely going his way! Cyber whips over, takes the head off live, and now the game's afoot. Flashview might get that flank, but the damage could be done. Souls, was that a Kiva onto Basetto? Hits him in the face with a throwing knife, and it all comes up FaZe Clan. Round 1 goes to the defense.
Cyber's such a slippy player. Like, all I want to do is just want to watch the whole game from his point of view, because it is so interesting, the positions that he finds himself in. He was on Newbridge, like, what, 15 seconds later, he's bottom of rocket stairs? Like, it's just unbelievable. How is he allowed on Newbridge for a start? That should be held. Like, you can't play main breach if you haven't got Newbridge. And just putting a drone in the corner isn't enough. That's not having Newbridge. He even shot the drone. There was someone watching the reception flank drone. Like, there's a player from Loud dead. There's a drone in the bottom of Rocket looking at the stairs. Cyber walks up to it and shoots it. Yeah, okay, you might have walked behind it, but you can hear it. The player then comes down, knows nearly exactly where he is. Cyber thinks he's outside. Nope. Flicks onto his head at the bottom of the stairs. And it was at that point that the round was won.
10 seconds remaining.
It's the kind of things you have to worry about, and you say he's always good for one round, but that we can always look to the beginning of the game as a good indicator. Serious Cyber yay game. We gotta be concerned about it.
The thing is, it's only 2 kills as well. Like, I know that it's great. He's got 2 kills, really good, but it's only 2. This is the player that we know can just walk away with 4 out of nothing.
That's true, but it's also not about the 2 kills. It's about the attention he attracts. It's about the worry he causes, just as much as the kills. That's not to contradict your point, just add on to it. Because
No, I would agree.
we'll see what they do here. Drone will spot him. Cyber on Ella. Clearly see that FaZe are trying to set him up well on the defense, give him a lot of leeway, a lot of fun ops to play. They already shot 2 drones, just walking about Newbridge and Green. Now waltzed his way all the way over to the rest of the defense. Close barricade, no problem. Kind of think that maybe you'd hope he opened. That would give Cyber a little bit more concern when he crosses, but since Cyber knows he's safe, he's joined the rest of the roam. It's all good now. And so Basetto hops in, and is just now retracing Cyber's steps.
Yeah, the only problem is he's retracing him from, what, 30 seconds ago. Cyber's done that lap. He's done that section of the course. He's repositioned. Souls. Monty of Basetto is going to bear down onto him, but as any veteran player knows, no point aiming at the Monty. You're going to be worried about what's behind it. It's a really sloppy catch attempt from Loud as well. Like, Souls should be dead there. Instead, Vitakin comes away with the entry.
How's he found that? Ooh. Flash will blind handy. Does he have anybody backing him up? It is kind of late in the round. Oh my god. Flashtree. I just feel bad for that. Not even mad. I just feel sad. If blind handy still gets the kill, SDK only gets the trade on the fall off. Cyber trades him out. Walking up the stairs. SDK clatters down to the landing. It's a two-man push with Basetto making space and Live backing him up. FaZe might be inclined just to start giving up these fights because with one gun behind the shield, there is a very possible combination of forces that could mingle. Cause issues for FaZe. Especially with Souls on low HP. No guarantee, certainly no guarantee, especially with Vitaking on 2 impacts. Depending on where those land, Basetto might just die to the secondary utility. But the shift to more passive play is not just warranted, it is desired. I will throw the flashes as the Monty hops in. Souls has to allow that. Monty continuing to apply pressure. Flashbang goes in, but far too deep. So Souls, KDS, and the rest can all remain functional. Live finding nothing. FaZe 2 in a row, and Loud struggling for solutions.
FaZe are doing such a good job of presenting a lot of problems early on into the round for Loud to try and solve. And it feels a bit deeper than just a loose roam. There's layers to it. You've got Cyber, who I would categorize as the roaming player. And then you've got players like Souls, who are kind of just hanging around at the top of stairs. And that's much more of a lurk role. Now, Souls is typically more of a support-based player, but just bear with me. Cyber allows a lot of the space to be created and sort of... He leaves the breadcrumb trail that Loud are going to follow. Now, Loud worked quite slowly in round 2, let's be honest. And I don't think that they fully anticipated just where everybody was, because there was good opportunities, especially whenever you bring in a Monty, you want to make sure that you've got good cut-off opportunities. You commented on it, Lynx, about a barricade not being open on the top of Newbridge. That sort of thing has not only didn't give Cyber anything to worry about, the phantom pressure of opening up barricades is something we'll often talk about. If they start opening up more of these barricades, yes, it gives Cyber an option and a free way of peeking out, but it also gives him a worry of, well, is somebody already in or is someone looking in? And likewise with Souls, when he was trying to retreat back down bunker stairs to get to site, if that barricade had already been opened, there's a very good chance that he loses his life there because he's been pushed and forced back from the Monty. So Loud, it's not to say that they're doing a terrible job so far. They're spending a lot of time, which we know they like to do, but they're also not really giving themselves the best setup to try and take advantage of that.
Seto, by the way, just unfortunately, I guess, disconnected. We are waiting for him to get back in. Building off what you said, there are a lot of pieces that are just all seeming to come up FaZe right now. Lack of pressure. Cyber just continuing to basically run his paths uncontested. kind of thing that the kind of mistakes that FaZe, well, kind of, I suppose, not mistakes, but the kind of mistakes FaZe were making, not doing those things, or those things that Loud were countering last time a bit more effectively in that game that they played last stage that Loud surprisingly took over FaZe Clan. Now as FaZe look to handle the tertiary site, it's kind of a perfect setup for what they often, or what FaZe often desire to do. You have 4 people up top, 1 down below. But you can often just hold the site from the top completely. There's one spot that maybe Cyber could still get a little bit more leeway, or be the guy in the site that Loud have to deal with. Look at who's playing. They put him on a zombie. Obviously it could change, but that screams to me the possibility that Cyber could just start setting up Kibas down below and be the one-man army holding the tide back on A and B side itself, while the rest of the team, Vidaking, Handy, KDS, and Souls hold upstairs.
That's the dangerous thing about FaZe, is that excluding Cyber, the other 4 are so good, it doesn't really matter what he does. So he can just go out, and if he wants to take Azami out of the site and play it somewhere else just to be a massive nuisance, why not? The rest of the guys can carry on, like, they can still operate. They just act like Azami's banned. It's like, oh, Cyber's got Azami this round. Looks like no Cubas on the site. We'll have to just play it a little bit differently. But he's then got the flexibility to make it an absolute nightmare to peek in. Look at this. He's got a Kiba there as bait. He's not even playing off that.
That's crazy work from him. Oh my god. Does he get this?
Oh, it's a potential overcook, honestly.
Oh,
he's just trying to do everything he wants to bait him.
He's cooking. Oh my god. Get this guy out. Get this guy out of the kitchen. He didn't even die. It's getting too hot for me, personally. Just a bit of a quick rush by Loud, though. Blitz in with the smoke. They're just trying to brute force Cyber, make him regret ever waking up today. He's just firing the shots into live. Does he come away with this? Surely not. Bit of a difficult dance that they're trying to thread. Perez with the first. He still gets the kill! Whips out the deagle, bashes him in the head. Few shots on the fadeaway, but it's still Loud in the post. KDS shoots Cyber in the face because Lord knows we can't handle any more of that this round. Trying to do a favor to Loud. Perez backing off with the retake on green, mounting hella good pre-fire. Vidaking not even ready for that SMG-12 spray. It'll be Loud picking up the first. As all they get is a deagle kill from Cyber, and the rest is all Loud.
I like that from Loud. I really do. Some serious aggression. No messing about. Straight in and just show FaZe. Look, if you want to play this play style of 4 players setting up on the site and just letting your mad dog run free, then we're just going to ignore it. Now, you can only ignore it for so long, because Cyber did still get a kill onto the Blitz, which, to be honest, in the post is a fantastic one to get, because it's the Blitz that's the real worry factor. Then the team kill comes in, and then it all just starts to look a little bit bad for FaZe. But Loud did a brilliant job of just taking a lot of initiative there and going, you know what? We're not going to get dragged into the silly games that you want us to play. We're instead just going to cut all of that out and attack the site. Now, they can't do that every round, but it's given them something to work with here on Lair, which, let's be honest, fairly defend-decided. It's no strange thing to see defending teams go 4-2 split on Lair. That would be considered, I think, kind of good for Loud at this point in the proceedings if they're able to get there.
Bomb located by attackers.
But they're not going to be able to rush every round, and they are going to have to come up with some better ways of dealing with these players. Now, Cyber's back on the go-yo. If he tries to do his pathing again of New Bridge to Rocket Stairs or the bottom of, he should be punished for it. There's only so many routes.
5 seconds
We
remaining.
need to see Loud take a little bit more initiative. It's a full 5-man 6-pick as they switch off from fun operators like Amaru to other operators like Striker.
Hey, that's Striker. Not Sentry. Just clarify. Seems like Loud, definitely feeling like they've got something good to go off of here. Facetto with the Monty in the first couple rounds. They're like, okay, you want to ban it against us? That's fine. There's a different shield that worked this go around. Bot pushing really deep, really solo, by the way. You gotta be careful with how you're playing right here. Souls nails Basetto to a post, and Live is like, oh man, you got my friend. Capital Utility falling silent for the rest of this round, and aside from the Aurora, Ollie, we're looking a little light on Execute Utility.
Yeah, we really are. It's one of the problems when you bring the striker. Yeah, you get flashes and nades, or hard breach charges and nades, whatever the combination of secondary you like, but there's no getting around it. You are missing sometimes vital utility. And we talk about redundancy. There is none here. We've got Ying available, for goodness sake. We often see something like a Sense played.
Oh!
Well,
That's
the other downside of pushing ops. They're very vulnerable from below. Cyber knows it. Handy just swings off the window. Loud aren't even... They're not even being allowed in at this point. The last two are just chilling outside a display.
Paris is just like... Paris is still thinking about what he wants to roar door. We're just not looking good, everyone.
I'd just roar door the windows and take a timeout.
Not a bad idea at this point. Live tries to hop in, immediately gets hit by a smoke canister and a full 9mm mag, and he's like, alright, I'm gonna back out. Fair enough. I actually think that's not a bad strategy at this point.
Just take the minute.
Like, I'm not even saying that to be mean. Like, genuinely, I actually don't think that's a bad strategy right now, but they'll keep trying. I admire that. You can see the full rotations every time. Vidiking hears them walking up, so pulls further back into the hallway, holds the off position, and it's not even Vidiking that gets him. It's KDS that gets it. Harris misses the C4. Flawless round for FaZe. Blitz play not nearly as good when it's bunks and briefing, or when it's not bunks and briefing.
Sometimes the shields, they're just not interchangeable. And the Monty does a far better job there than the Blitz ever will. Yeah, you can rush in and take ops quickly, but your teammate gets domed behind you, which is exactly what happened there in round 4. It's good for not a lot. FaZe not really coming up against any obstacle here and showing that they can play at any level. Again, another round where it wasn't necessarily the Cyber show, but he got a great kill on the Vert, which just put out any embers of a flame that were left inside of that ops push from Loud. A lot of this is coming down to gunfights as well, and we are just not seeing Loud win them.
No. When it comes to the individual performances, FaZe have them going right now. Not even like crazy score lines. It's just everyone getting the kills they need. We haven't had a single multi-frag, by the way. If you want to expand like the classification, we had that double kill from Cyber. By and large, no triples, no nothing. It has just been a solid team game for FaZe throughout this entire half so far. Even losing as a team in round 3, only one player getting a kill. That'll be another mid-floor roam for FaZe. Cyber picking that Ella back up. The same lineup that we saw them run on the previous basement defense. I wouldn't be shocked if Cyber even runs with a lot of the similar, or runs with similar pathing. Just hoping that maybe FaZe, or excuse me, Live or Loud open up some of these barricades a bit more to make Cyber feel a bit more restricted. He fires quite a few shots to the softball over towards our 6 room. C4 even being used against Live, though the buck remains unharmed for the moment.
Reload. Live is making good on some of this Vert. Able to snag one of the mirror windows. Perez seemingly needing to move through and take a little bit more control, but information looks really lacking at the moment from Loud. We've got a drone on Skybridge, one in medical, one in security, one in bunk. Should be able to call the majority of this as clear. The problem with FaZe is you never know when they're going to slip back up the stairs. And when you're not bringing any flank protection, that can be a bit of a problem. No Nomad, no track stingers. Nothing to stop any of these FaZe players, mainly Cyber, from making a little bit of a rotation at some point. Especially once this sledgehammer starts swinging. Ooh. But no, it's KDS. A brilliant C4 there. It's going to put a bit of a dampener on some of the soft destruction, but not all of it. Flash Street does have Ram's boogie drones, so we'll be able to deploy those and start to rip open some of this floor, but the same rules apply.
and used an application against FaZe. Through the floorboards, it seems Vidiking goes down. Losing players like that is not ideal, but acceptable for FaZe so long as the remaining four can hold on. You still got some of the F-Nots, some of the Gershmots and Banshees, perhaps. Maybe you'd like a C4. But a lot of these bits and bobs that should throw Loud off kilter when they move into the site could very well still be present. By the same token, they've got quite a few flashes, another Dokkaebi call, firebolts and smoke bolts. Not really breaking clearly one way or the other, but whoever gets these next kills or two, that might be what shifts the tides. Dokkaebi call goes out. Unfortunately, Bassetto, this is one important gunfight as a player moving deeper into the site. It's caught with utility in hand. It's actually STK that goes down, excuse me. Handy finding clean opportunity there. Bassetto moving in off the back of it. The loss of his teammate, an acceptable moment as he's able to get that diffuser down, get out safely as Handy can't find it. And with Bassetto goes prone, like a T-Rex, Handy has to focus on movement, and when somebody goes still, that's when things get really tricky. KDS on the retake, faltering. And Soul's also going down to the prone Bassetto, who stands up victorious as KDS. Two players in his way, and no retake mounting. Loud very suddenly rip away a basement defense from FaZe.
Sometimes going prone's the play. In that case, it was the play for not one but two kills. Loud managing to get that plant down. The early game not really deterring them too much. They took good control. The C4 kill was obviously a big stopping point for that push, and it was fortunate they had redundancy. How many times tonight have we spoken about ensuring that you've got enough tools to carry out the plan if something does go wrong? Lose the sledge? Guess what? We've still got Ram. And Loud was still able to transition and get that plant down, regardless of the fact that they'd lost what could have been quite a key PC utility if they'd only brought the sledge and they'd have brought, I don't know, something else instead. And they would have been left thinking, this is going to be a bit tricky, but they had that redundancy. Sometimes against some of the best teams in the world, you will need. Very good chance for Loud to level things up 3-3 here and just show that FaZe aren't invincible.
5 seconds left before
You know, I mean, it's a very good opportunity here, especially because FaZe are now left in a tricky situation with the site selection. You go back to basement, which you just lost, and you go to Bunk's briefing, which you lost before. This one was technically closer. It took a little bit longer for Loud to get set up, but Bunk's briefing was a lot more one-sided, so FaZe will retry this bottom floor site with at least a couple substantial changes, specifically Cyber, who's been playing the Ella both times, bringing a bit more active utility and giving the Gershmots over to KDS, who's playing Striker. So now there's a bit more teeth to this roam, the Black Mirrors and the Castle Barricades. Maybe not a bit more teeth, maybe just a bit more layers that Loud will have to pierce through. Cyber jump scared by the Gone 6, so I'll have to back up and run immediately into a blitz. Hall of Horrors formed by Loud on the basement site. KDS the first to go down. Only Loud's second opening pick so far this series, and yet they might get a 3-3 half out of it. But Live does not need to push that deep just yet. You have a 5v4, 2 minutes remaining. Immediate sub control. There's no need to push this advantage yet.
Much better from Loud. C4 swings and misses there as well. The only one in play. Live just needs to wait for a little bit more of his team to get around him. A Dokkaebi call is going to give him plenty of info right now and even forces Cyber to get up out of that tucked and prone position behind the half wall. Smoke's getting sent out now as well, just trying to further push these defenders back. But this isn't FaZe's first time. They know where they can stand firm. And at the minute, it has stalled out for Live. Sorry, for Live and for Loud quite a bit. Perez still with a bit of an angle to work with. Do always have to be careful of FaZe retaking these areas that were once clear. Especially Handy. He's pushed right up into the hallway for Missile. Only a couple of pixels there for an angle, but a very narrow chance. We know he's capable of hitting shots like that. Perez does need to be cautious. But the time is ticking down in the defender's favor.
You said they've had time to reposition, had time to set up, and began anticipating and calculating where Loud's next positions might be. Well, it's not exactly going to be a silent entry. It'll reveal at least part of the push. Important one at that. Dokvi also being revealed on the opposite side. FaZe have had so much time to set up, and one entire branch of it just completely falls away. Flashtree finds some up-tempo inside of the site, but both him and Bassetto are separate. These are just two 1v1s that FaZe have to win, and ones in which I don't know if they're favored. You push back by the Firebolt. That's a big piece of utility. Push him right into Flashtree. It's not winnable just yet with Souls controlling these engagements with the shotgun around the corner. But if for some reason he lets him slip by and misses that opportunity, maybe there's something that Loud can do. But no, they take far too long and the defense is far too close. Tie game at the half, but Loud found some much needed momentum as, FaZe go up 4-2.
One of the rare occasions when you will see Souls mess up when the time is low and the man count is equally as low. He's one of my favorite players in the entire world. And part of it is due to he's just ice cold. And when you see him mess up a little bit like that with the shotgun, you're like, is there a glitch in the Matrix? Like, is he rebooting? He's recalibrating? Still, no danger for FaZe. They come away with the very expected 4-2 split. Loud had a big opportunity there, I'll be honest with you. And I just think that they squandered it by stalling out. And this, again, comes back to something we've spoken about a couple of times over the last 2 days of the difference between a stall and a setup. And it was almost certainly a stall from Loud. They just didn't have the next piece of the puzzle. And a blitz on their own, when there's a room like that to check that's got half walls, multiple doors, it just isn't viable. There's too many vulnerabilities. And they just weren't able to transition through that. And again, coming down to FaZe, knowing where they can hold, knowing what is defensible. And it did just feel like Loud were banging the head against it. I would have much rather they just totally withdrew and went and attacked somewhere else entirely based off the little bit of success that they'd seen. Leave FaZe guessing for a bit, have them have to reposition, and then go from there with the round. But unfortunately, Loud decided to continue to bang their heads against it, and it didn't work out for them. We've of course already seen FaZe play Lair this stage. It was last weekend.
Against Liquid.
I mean, some people called it a classic.
No, we've retired this bit. We've retired this bit.
And it lived up to it. Let's be honest. 7-5 for FaZe. FaZe good for 3 rounds on the attack. They were successful in Bunks and Master twice. So they did struggle downstairs in labs. That's no indication of what will happen here today, as they're of course going up against a different opponent. But we're expecting them to have a good, well thought through plan right now. Bring in the Brava. I think we're going to see a lot more Brava play the more Denari we get, because it's just another thing to hack, isn't it? And they can be very awkward to shoot. We've already seen tonight some of the places that you can tuck those trips. It'd be better to get a drone there, because at least you're not exposing yourself while you're trying to figure out how you're going to shoot the thing.
Those 2 trips we saw in the Black Dragons game honestly really, I think really showed that Brava, maybe not a necessity pick against the Denari, but you really got to worry about, especially a map where staircases play important roles, which, let's be honest, a lot of them do. It's one thing when you see a gigantic triangle, right? At least you know it's there.
Yeah.
But like, even some really good droners, are you really, if you're going downstairs, what, you're going to turn around and look at every step before you go to see if there's a Denari there? Even then, your eyesight might still just miss it. It's not an easy thing to see. The kind of thing that we really might start to see teams picking a lot more, especially as we don't see the big geometry. It's often nice to look at, but often it's just this one little line across the staircase that might be the most powerful trip of them all. Andy working his way down below, very expected position for a Deimos to hold on our 6 room. But while he's found this a little bit, FaZe do not have a direct line in. The Bs go out, so do the smoke, so they're clearly trying something. Dumping not all the utility, not a smoke, but 1 firebolt from Souls. It's not the entirety of the util. KDS hops in a bathroom, hits a Denari trip, and well, you really wish you had thrown a clutch drone over in bathroom.
Opening pick for Handy onto live. Smoke taken down. He'd already expended a couple of canisters, but it's still not a great sign of things to come. Especially given the position that he was playing. STK. There's a chance here just inside a display. There's a lot to watch and a lot to keep a track of. He's being assisted by Azami somewhat. Perez with a great frag over onto Vitaking. Vitaking just trying to push through the breach. They've not done anywhere near enough to start this just yet.
That's a concern I have. I mean, to be fair, it's Perez around the corner with a nice pre-fire hand. He shuts it down. And what do they have at this point? With that immediate pressure gone, no C4, no smokes, no nothing. How the hell is Souls here? He just walked in from behind. It's actually, excuse me, Cyber credited with both those kills. Para 308 can be a little confusing sometimes, everybody. We got 2 ops with it, and both firing shots at these defenders and both getting in on the action.
Surprise, surprise, it's Cyber just walking out of nowhere and get 2 kills.
Yeah, that'll do
just
it.
Cyber things. That's just the kind of thing that he does. I think that Vitaking definitely went a little bit early, but maybe the Capital's to blame for the lack of flame on the desk. It was the desk where Perez was playing, and as soon as Vitaking had died, that desk was flamed out, and immediately we saw KDS pushing in off the back of it. So a little bit of a desync in the time in there, but it's inconsequential in the end because FaZe still walk away with the round. It is very much nitpicking there to complain about that, as they had a very clear way of how they wanted to deal with the player tucked in behind the desk. Capital is always a great shout. You know, something that I always notice about FaZe
What?
is that we never really call for them to be playing different operators.
10 seconds left.
You know, a lot of teams will be like, oh, it'd be really nice if they brought this for that, or it'd be really nice if they brought this for that. This isn't that. Like, we never have that with FaZe.
You're right.
I always feel like they bring the best things, which is really like, I'm kind of trying to say it without saying that we're always right, because we're definitely not. But it's very aligned with our view of the game.
Well, hold on. So I will say, well, cards on the table, very, very, very much the case for me. I've said actually a couple times at the desk before that oftentimes I will find myself, not even like on broadcast, just like silently being like, oh, why are Furia doing that? Why are Furia doing that? And it's literally just a case of like, Furia's philosophy is very different from mine. And what they're doing is not wrong. Clearly it's not wrong. No. It's just I see things and I'm like, oh, I hate they're doing that. And it's just a stylistic difference. And like, neither of us are right or wrong. What Furia is doing is good for what they want to do. But FaZe, I think, very much overlap more with how I view the game, but also, even if they aren't bringing the right tools for the job, let's be honest. I think we just kind of assume FaZe usually have a plan with the things that they bring more than we do for a lot of teams. Is that unfair?
We
Maybe.
never see
FaZe...
anything wasted, do we?
No, we don't. Like, and personally, I don't think we do, but also, even when we do, FaZe are the world champions for a reason, and FaZe have been so gifted strategically in a way I think that overlaps with a lot of people's views of the game, that we don't often make those criticisms. Like here, right? See the Dokkaebi call go out. Very normal beginning. Doesn't really find a lot of information, though. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, I'd like to maybe see something. But at the same time, you have Souls roaming on with the shotgun, actively droning into the building. You can clearly see that there's movement, that FaZe are trying to use that info from the calls. And when they're selecting weapons even on these operators, they're positioning themselves in the right engagements to take advantage of the kit. We've seen Sledge Shotgun a few times this weekend. That's the first time I've actually seen it work.
I'm reloading.
Used as an entry as well, by the way. Are we in the Sledge entry meta?
Oh no, not again.
Quite possibly.
The wreckage Deimos has wrought. Oh!
Oh my. See you later.
Send us to round 9.
Yeah. Absolute drive-by from KDS. Just Ferrari peeks him and takes him out of the game. It's the smoke and the Wamai gone. No ability to catch anything. The magnets that are placed are the only magnets that will remain. The smoke canisters as well. Tin opener now being used here inside of filtration. Another angle that's going to be worried about now, especially for STK. Fortunately did have one magnet, but it's not enough. Goes for a really aggressive play. He's trying to use the Kiba barricades to plug up the hole. Somehow manages to stay alive, but he can't be alive for long.
Oh, this player's got to be shut down, especially as Souls eliminated on his entry to the site. Vitaking does land a nice trade, and a very important one at that, as Loud start fighting back. Vitaking looking to send Loud out of this game. Great shot by Perez. It's only Cyber to watch. But on the hatch, he's got the angle necessary. Our 6th room and basement both go the way of the attack. And now let's look to round 9 for the finisher.
Also, have we ever seen Cyber involved in the actual execute, or is he always just trying to pick kills off from afar? It's like you playing against 2 teams. You're playing against KDS, Handy, Viking, and Souls, and you're playing against Cyber, and he's his own separate entity under this FaZe Clan banner. He's the offshore company.
Defenders protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
That's where they put all the funds through.
FaZe have outsourced key parts of their key parts of their supply chain to Cyber. Well, here's the thing, though. Are Viking, Handy, KDS, and Souls of the licensing company? And Cyber's like... Because, like, Nike has it set up where, like, they license out the rights to use, like, I think the logo. And so, technically, like, Nike makes all the profits selling shoes, but then they have to pay all of the profits to the licensing company. So, is Cyber the licensing company, or is he the shoe?
I don't know.
This is a really, really strange analogy.
Maybe when we see him at an event, we'll have to ask him.
Cyber, you know Nike?
Do you want to be the shoe or the licensing company? It's a really straightforward question.
Start shaking up. Cyber, the shoe, man. Are you the shoe?
Yeah. The shoe sounds cooler, but the licensing company is going to make you a wealthier man.
Hey, listen. One's gonna make you a lot of money for your family. The other, great in a Twitter bio. What are we thinking? What are we talking?
I don't know. At least we're having a bit of fun with it. It's 6-2. Like, the writing's on the wall for this one.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch a lot of Siege to know what's going to happen next. Loud have used their time out. Everything that they're trying is sort of falling on deaf ears at the moment. Flastry this time going to be playing the Azami instead of STK. He's over on the old Tuberal. Souls is taking a bit of damage, but we are going to get a bit of Capital utility sent in. Oh, that's a horrible rotate to make. Look at what he's falling into.
Oh, no.
The open lap of Handy, and Cyber picks one up as well. It's not going to last long.
I don't even know what angle Perez is looking at right now. Tunnel visioned on the floor. SDK trying to make rotates. They've still got the vert, but with so many angles, the smoke bolts covering up the two key bits of vert. Perez will find one, but this diffuser is going down. Moved into the post. Perez can just see a little bit enough through the rafters to watch the round walk away out of the site and holding post plant positions. Crackslinger signal his proximity to the Capitao outside, and is that it? A double swing will seal Loud's fate. FaZe were the losers in this stage 1 bout, but on the rematch just one stage later, 7-2 on Lair.